Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Hypertrends. Today we want to talk a bit about the Azure HCI Premier solutions, and for that I brought one of my famous hybrid friends with me, Samantha Doherty from our business and product group units. And Sam, I think you can introduce yourself better than me, so would appreciate just if you can introduce yourself to the audience, and then we just start, I would say.
Great. First of all, thank you for having me, Flo. It's really nice to be here today. Hi, everyone. My name is Samantha Doherty. I am the Worldwide Director for Edge Infrastructure and Devices, including IoT, here at Microsoft in our Device Partner Sales organization. I'm responsible for everything related to the Edge, but today we are here to talk about Azure Stack HCI and our premium solutions and the category of solutions that we have available. So with that said, I'm going to hand over back to Flo and we'll get started.
Thank you, Sam. And you already said we have the premium solutions. So that was the third category of HCI solutions introduced in the portfolio. So we had the validated solutions, which is basically validated hardware, which can be purchased from our partners. Then we had the integrated ones where we would just put some more things on top, like the support contracts, like the driver packages, additional validation, operating system comes installed when it's on site. But what's premium? So why do we need to have an additional SKU for those things?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you said it quite well. Today, if you think about a pyramid, we have a pyramid. And in that pyramid, historically, we only had two categories in that pyramid. You would think of the standard at the bottom of the pyramid, the standard x86 baseline server. Then we introduced as a base the Azure Stack HCI validated nodes, and that actually serviced all categories across the board. And then in calendar year 2022, we introduced the integrated systems. And those integrated systems, as Flo said, are really those that address a certain segment of the market that requires in-depth partner testing and validation, commitment of support in hardware. And, over the last couple of months, we've had some significant feedback from our partners and our customers looking for something a little bit more, something that will give them the ability to have a factory solution integration with services available, that has a single point of contact in level 1, level 2 support. So think about that end-to-end relationship with a customer and a partner buying a solution. They want to deal with one person. They don't want to deal with multiple people down the line. And then, of course, has a wide variety worldwide available, meaning that it is in multiple countries. Think about 100 plus more countries available. Often some of the solutions are not available worldwide. So this particular category that we are introducing, referred to as the Premier solution, is available in 100 plus countries. And then, of course, think about white glove deployments. So those services are available to a customer in 100 plus countries that actually handhelds the onboarding and deployment scenario. So, and then of course, there's an alternative way that a customer can procure a solution. Think about customers that are looking to buy CapEx versus OpEx, how they're looking at their budgets, can they get the platform as a service? So Premier Solution category really fits into that space.
Yeah. And especially if you think of just to name the first Premier solutions here with Dell Apex and Lenovo TrueScale in the portfolio. For me, the most valid scenario is I'm a big retailer, and I want to deploy, let's say, all over US, Australia, EMEA, and I cannot put my administrators on a plane every day to just bring out those boxes, cable them, put them on put them in the racks in the stores, because I maybe have a few thousand stores I want to deliver to. And here I can say, just correct me if I'm wrong, it's just calling Dell, calling those, hey, I want to have those Premier solutions. Can you send your technician, your partner, here's the cabling plan I want to have, or it's maybe already built then by Dell. So I know Jaromir is helping a lot with those from Dell to build a lot of those cable plans and how it should be deployed on-prem, then just calling them and say, hey, can you do that for me as soon as it's as it's deployed, it's connected to Arc, and I can then start manage, so I don't need to go on site. So that's one thing I learned from my customers and working with those partners. It's often that they maybe pay those little bit extra for the service itself, but they spare a lot of costs when you think of sending your administrators out of their offices, all those expenses, flight costs, hotel, maybe something goes wrong on site, parts broken, something like that, and you need to wait for the partners to replace them. So in that scenario, for me, it has a lot of sense to go with those Premier solutions, because it's, as we say, edge build, or it's helping us at the edge scenarios.
Yeah, I think, I think it is critical for customers to understand the distinct differences between the different solutions. And what I mean by that is we launched Premier solutions for a reason. The scenario that you've mentioned, absolutely. But it addresses a specific need for a customer. It addresses the need for having deployment at scale, repeatable, and replicating the scenario across multiple locations. You mentioned retail. We see huge benefits in customers, maximizing their operational efficiency in an organization to manage these devices at scale. But at the same time, having the ability to lean on a partner like Dell, where they have that deployment expertise that can now help and facilitate and help the partner, help the customer scale a lot faster. So getting those devices connected at the edge really happens at speed because they've got the expertise, they've got the skills, but it's also a repeatable and scalable solution, which makes it so much easier. You talk about cost, yes, it is slightly more expensive, but with those added features and added benefits that you get as part of a Premier solution, it definitely outweighs the cost ratio, because you wouldn't have to go and deploy the technical expertise to go and do that. You wouldn't need to have a fleet of IT pros to support that infrastructure, because now everything is Arc enabled and you can have a central point of management. So that really streamlines the operation and the use cases that we see today.
Yeah. And so it's also maybe good for a partner who's not that they are maybe our lighthouse partners, for example, we have at Azure. They may be good in managing those servers, but as you said, they are not good in deployment. They don't have the staff to do it. It would then reduce their amount of effort or experts they need from a partner perspective to those who can manage the operating system, who can manage the workloads, and there's no longer a need to have these Dell, Lenovo experts on sizing, on deployment, and so on. Doing those things. So that's as I said, that's one thing where the solution goes hand in hand. And as I had a lot of validated nodes deployments, there was also getting the right drivers, just starting with the drivers, starting the expertise, starting the architecture scenarios. And if you can offload that, especially if you're new into those hyper-converged business together with the hyperscaler clouds, it could really help starting off. Maybe at some point you can then switch back to integrator or validators when you have the expertise. But starting with Premier, I think, couldn't be wrong.
Yeah, it takes away that heavy lifting. Absolutely.
There's one thing. So I know we cannot talk much about it, but talking about now having everything in OPEX, having those partners delivering the service directly integrated into Microsoft. So just for me as someone who sometimes thinks about business ideas, couldn't that be an option for a hyperscaler to offer services?
Of course. Absolutely. I mean, we are working through various scenarios today to enable that at scale, be that through Azure or be that through another alternative. We are certainly looking at ways to make it easier for a customer to transact and consume Azure services. I think the thing to remember is every customer, every scenario, every use case is unique in the sense of how the organization or the company manages their CapEx and OpEx expenditure. because the way that they go to market is not necessarily the same as everyone else. But the thing that we have learned over the last couple of months, as I mentioned before the introduction of Premier Solutions, is the fact that customers are looking for a single throat to choke. They are looking for someone that they can deal with, and they don't want to have the ability to deal with multiple people down the line. Hence, you see Dell Apex as a service. You see Lenovo TrueScale as a service. So they get that end-to-end connection point from device through to services enabled and summed up as one. So some of you are maybe asking, well, is there an offering from Microsoft coming soon? And all I can say to you right now is watch this space. We are working very hard at it.
That basically answers most of the burning questions for Premier. So as I said, we wanted to keep it short because there are a lot of infos out there. But it was, as most of the audience know, these open chats with people like you, just getting your thought process around why is Microsoft doing that in that specific space? What's the thought process behind? What should I consider? And I think that answers perfectly what we still have as open questions out in the field. So basically, Premier covers those end-to-end scenarios where I want to avoid additional stuff, where I want to have my end-to-end partner relations, and it maybe enables purchasing hardware through Microsoft Azure as a service.
Yeah. And then, also the other thing that you should also be aware of, whilst we have Dell and Lenovo today as part of our premium solutions, we are looking to expand the category into more device partners. So more of that to come too.
Yeah, I maybe heard already on another 3-letter company, something like that. There's small companies. So to be honest, I think my friends from Data On will step me with something for that. But there's still, if you have a preferred smaller vendor like Blue Chip, Thomas Kren, Data On, I think those, I said, correct me if I'm wrong, wouldn't be feasible for Premier Solutions because they have just a limited market. I know from Data On, they're heavy and they're really good in the US. And I talked to Data On a previous video where I said, we want to be the best in the market where we are. So that's why we are not considering to expand to Asia right now, because we have no offices there. We have no supply partners there. We have no support staff there. We have no one on site. And as of the nature of Asia, we cannot deliver the best-in-class services we want to have. So I think those guys that do not target Premier Solutions right now because they cannot deliver on the scale like Dell, Lenovo. The others we hear later this year. So basically,
yeah, I mean, I can already say we've got HPE lined up. To your point, other partners are exploring the feasibility of expanding into the portfolio of Premier Solutions. As it stands right now, to your point, they don't meet all the milestones, worldwide coverage in 100+ countries, et cetera. And also, I think volume becomes a very interesting point of consideration. The dedicated engineering resources with this ongoing collaboration between Microsoft and the OEM that is taking up quite a bit. So it's a heavy commitment with our device partners and with Microsoft. But the reason we do this is to make it easier for the customer to use the platform, to consume the platform, and enable services at the edge that is easy for them to translate and do business with. So I think that's really important.
And it's not only the technical blockers we encounter often. It's like I worked a lot with customers in Brazil, and I had a customer, just as an example, who tried to get an Azure Stick Edge in Brazil. That's not possible for us as a company, because when you try to import hardware to Brazil, you need to pay a certain amount of import taxes on top because it's not built within the country. If you import components and find someone who builds it, it's much cheaper. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But it needs to be assembled in the country. And that's for example, something we as a Microsoft cannot deliver because of the tremendous amount of costs which are not covered by the shipments we could do. And here we need to rely on those Premier partners and rely on their on-site partners who then get all parts, assemble them, and ship it to the customer. Same in China with the regulated market. They have their subcontractors acting as HPE, for example, to really bring that service in, and we couldn't do that because hardware is not our major business.
Agree.
We do a bit of Xbox, we do a bit of device, but we do not do service any longer. So that's it's not our major business. We don't have this partner, so we need to rely on those partners in the field who have that scale, who need to deliver to Brazil, China, and other regulated markets already.
Yeah. The important thing about devices or the devices ecosystem flow is that for some people it may be a swear word because they think customers want to remain on-prem. For others like me and you that understands the technology, it's actually just a stepping stone for a customer to get them cloud ready and to help them scale as they grow. And their organization adapt and evolve. They can then start taking more advantage of the capabilities that the cloud offers, but still leverage their on-prem infrastructure. So I see that there's still a ton of learning that needs to happen in understanding how do I tap into the on-prem market to actually accelerate my cloud adoption, or use that to modernize my infrastructure or my technology that I'm utilizing. So device partners in our world are critical for success because customers are going to modernize their infrastructure. They're going to renew their infrastructure. They are going to have an on-prem footprint. I mean, the data is telling us that customers are looking to have multi-cloud environments. So on-prem is not going to go away. I think the question is we have to address the opportunity for on-prem so that customers knows that that's my safe space. I can start there and then at a later stage scale as I grow per se.
Yeah, and there are scenarios where you cannot move 100% cloud.
Totally.
My famous scenario here is a friend of mine was a CTO of a large shipping company.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I have 400 ships down on the ocean.
Yep.
I have only satellite connections. I cannot put all my data in the cloud. I need to get my engine data. I need to get my wave data.
Time.
Yeah, I need to have it on ship in real time. The only things I need is for my insurance or for the harbors, I need to have those information later on to do the tax calculations, the import taxes, to inform the police on port, and also the stuff on port, what cargo I want to load and unload. But all those raw data I can use on the ship. I can pre-calculate, pre-work on the ship, and then send it to the cloud. But what I want to have is, I want to see all my nodes. I want to see all my systems. At the moment, I'm just sending emails back and forth, but I don't have real-time connectivity. I need to rely on the stuff that I have on the ships, which they're sailors. It's not that they're IT staff there. And he said, hey, I need to have that on my ships. But now with these hybrid opportunities, I can manage my nodes even through a satellite connection. And also
correct.
Don't want to talk about Azure Orbiter and Azure satellite services here, but it all fits into this edge strategy with our devices. And so there are scenarios or really regulated spaces where you need to have those environments. And it's as Fearless such as said, hybrid is there to stay.
Yeah.
And it's just supported by what the cloud offering is, or the public cloud offering is there.
Right. Thank you.
And with that, I think we can close our talk for today.
Right.
Thank you so much, Sam, and hope to talk to you later this year with some awesome news on this stuff we teased today.
I look forward to sharing some more, and thank you for having me today.
Thank you. And for everyone else, subscribe to the channel if you want to have more interviews. If you have any questions, put them on the comments or on LinkedIn or any channel where you can reach us. I will put Samantha's LinkedIn profile in the video description together with a summary created by Copilot. I'm trying Copilot right now for all my summaries. need to do some AI stuff for the
Learning.
for the learning. Yeah, for the learning. So have a great and bye, and thank you, Sam.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.